Welcome to a new daily top Askreddit video. Today's topic. What if, after you die, Sita asks you how was hell? Dude. Nailed it. Burps, show me what you got. I like what you got. Good job. Please don't say it was just level 1. Edit my first gold. Thanks, kind stranger. Level 2 commences. You are now ugly. What the fuck did you just do to me? I got more stuff. I'd love to hear it. Start imagining what heaven would be like. 20% less kicks to the head. Ain't that a kick in the head? I came a lot to most of your stuff, so 10/10ths would suffer again. Honestly, your porn search history gave us some great ideas for level 2 hell. We're getting laid in level 2. I'm sorry, what? I. Gesturing towards myself. Came. Jacking off motion followed by an exhale. To your. Pointing at Sita. Stuff. Raising hands as if to say, look at all of this shit. Raises 10 fingers. 10/10ths. It got really weird toward the end, like the writers were running out of ideas, so they just started doing crazy stupid shit. By any chance, were two of the writers called David Byoff and D.B. Weiss? That explains why I spent 7 years getting my degree, only to ultimately ignore it and choose a career path completely unrelated. Congratulations, you passed the first test. Cheering. But I have some bad news for you. What? You're going back. By. Screaming. I'll tell you where they aren't. Safe. PLS no popo. I knew it. Jason. Jason figured it out this time. This is a new low. Immediately heard Michael's demo laugh when I read the title. This is just the opposite of the other post. This is hurting my brain. Welcome to our /Askreddit. I've seen a repost of the same question 4 times today. That sounds about right. Unnerving as it is. I'd believe it. Tell him the ultimate insult, and he'll know what it means. Thanks for building that church in Ecuador. Explain please. There is a church in Ecuador that Satin was tricked into building in exchange for this man's soul. The deal was that the church was to be completed by a certain date. The architect who made the deal didn't want his soul taken, so when the day came he removed a large stone from the building, therefore making it incomplete on that date. The devil built a church, and the guy kept his soul. This is at least what my relatives told me when I went to see the church myself. It's somewhat of a folktale in Quito, Ecuador, but is generally accepted as true. Subtle, up until 2015. Was it really subtle before? The 1930s and 40s were pretty much as hell as it gets for most of the world. Yeah, but they were good writing with believable and intelligent villains, rather than some cartoonish bumbling buffoon that somehow keeps winning even though any 5-year-old could see through his charade. This is actually what many early Christians, called Gnostics, believed. They believed that the Old Testament God Yahweh, who they called the Demiurge, not only created this universe, but that this universe is hell due to the incomprehensible amount of suffering that constantly occurs everywhere on this planet. Being that this is hell, naturally Sita is the Lord of this world. They believed that he is either an agent of Yahweh, or that Sita and Yahweh are the same being, i.e., the creator of the universe is the devil, and that our spirits are trapped in an endless cycle of death and reincarnation. They also believed that Yahweh is an inferior being to the true God the Father, who incarnated himself as Jesus Christ in order to save humans from Yahweh /Sita's grasp by giving us gnosis, or intense knowledge of our predicament, so that after death, instead of being tortuously reincarnated, we may finally return home to the spiritual realm from where we came. Of course, in Roman times, people rebelling against the creator of the universe was an extremely subversive and dangerous idea, which is likely the real reason that the Romans put Christ to death. People who don't submit to the creator of the universe certainly are not going to recognize the authority of any government or church, so the Gnostics were mercilessly persecuted by the Catholic Church and its governments throughout the Dark Ages until their ideas were almost wiped out forever. It wasn't until 1945 that the Nag Hammadi Library was discovered. Some thoughtful soul about 1800 years ago decided to bury a lot of Gnostic texts in the desert. It wasn't until the late 1970s that translations into English were completed, so we've really only known what the early Gnostics actually believed for a few short decades. Some Gnostics believed that Christ wasn't even the Son of God, but just a teacher who had reached enlightenment through gnosis, knowledge of hell world. It should be noted that the early teachings of Christ are still hotly contested, and there was a lot of fragmentation in early Christian beliefs. Nice write-up, Op, good job. This actually makes a lot of sense. I'm completely irreligious, but I could buy into this, if I could just get past the disbelief of a higher being, other than physics, responsible for creation. Now if you believe that our universe is a computer program, it's really the same thing as creation. Big Bang is when the guy running the program, God, pressed the on button. I'd give him a big hug and call him my bro. Okay, not sure why you hugged me, but anyway, do you want to spend the next 50 years in the anus torture room or the flaying room? Edit, downvote me to 666 and then keep me there. Come on Reddit. You slip eye. Why not both? I love you too, atomic flame thrower. This is cute. The part when my dog died was a bit much. Thanks Sita. Look up Gnosticism. Some people believe Earth is hell. TBH, I wouldn't blame them, humanity is fucked. Oh, I absolutely don't disagree with them. I'm just too worn out from being raised very Baptist to subscribe to any spiritual notions beyond just doing your best to not be a trash bag. Too subtle. I had a lot of fun down there. Like, more than would have been necessary for me to miss it. Yeah, that's always a tough balancing act. Pretty much the only wrong answer is all suffering all the time. I did like the thing about the ruling class being all psychopaths and predators. Oh, that wasn't me. That was just natural selection. But I did make them perpetually unsatisfied no matter how much they had. That's diabolical. Correct. You got to step your game up, my guy. No. I'd say what the fork. Holy forking shirt balls. ID reply, I need a few succubi, and a hug, and someone to talk to now that I'm somewhere comfortable. Need to summon a succubi. 3 easy steps. 1. Write a letter describing what you want to do to your succubi. Make sure to really let your passions flow and reveal all your dark desires. 2. Put some blood on that bitch. 3. Burn that shit while calling out to Lilith, mother of demos, to please send one of her daughters to be your company and fulfill your written desires. Bada bing, bada boom, you better treat that girl good or you gonna upset mama. Disclaimer, Clyde Olf has never summoned a fucking nymphomaniac demo. Don't actually follow this advice. Legit guide stolen from some godforsaken crevice in the internet. So you're saying there is a chance? That would explain so much. The sex, drugs and rock and roll thing was pretty good. Bitch, that's the best you got. Respawn in North Korea next time. Bitch, that's the best you got. That was hell. This explains so much. I've learned a lot of torture techniques. Sure, flaying is cool, but have you ever added 8 skippable ads to your videos? I ask him to smash and ask where the fuck he was. Where were you when everything was falling apart? All my days spent by the telephone. That never rang, and all I needed was a call. That never came. From the corner of First and Amistad. It was alright, but there was way too much Jesus shit everywhere. Can I sign up for the job you do? Sita looking over my progress of how I handled things in hell. Hey. Me, hey. What? TBH, it wasn't even that bad all the time, but I kinda get your point. The good times are so that when it's over you remember them and know they were forcibly ripped from you, and it also makes the bad stuff seems worse. Like if there was no good times and only bad, you'd adjust to the shit fully and it wouldn't overall seem as bad. I'd say yes, alright, haven't got much to compare it to. Thank God somebody, I thought that was purgatory. Cackles heartily in edgy 14-year-old. I'd say that wasn't so bad. Seriously, I'd be so disappointed if there's no gory hit high sex demos in hell. Just a mediocre old rock in space. Oosh, makes sense. How the fuck did this come up in your mind, mate? Step 1, read Reddit. Step 2, slightly modify post from earlier today. Step 3, receive internet points. I'd say, I was wondering where my ex came from. If this is actual hell, it's better than life. I'd leap into his arms. What hot arms you have, sir. As an ancient Japanese proverb goes. Kaya, kimachi I /tilde. Awful. No water. So much fire. Too hot. I found myself weeping and gnashing my teeth. Sata is actually a nice being. Everyone thinks he's bad just because of Ramus, but in fact he's not. He made cupcakes for all of the kids in my kindergarten class once. Sata isn't bad, he was given a job to do. Yeah, he just argued with his boss and got transferred. I took the wrong direction. This is more or less the plot of The Good Place. Fork this shirt. What do you mean if?